Hey folks, Cooley here with another one of your emails about high-tech cars and modern driving. This one comes in from Marshall in Chicago. He's got a question about the way power windows work that is very interesting. He asks, why don't all cars have fully automatic windows like luxury cars do? Shouldn't that just be an easy programming implementation? If they've programmed the driver's side window to do it, wouldn't the effort be negligible to add the coding to the other three windows? Is this just to make buyers move to a higher trim level? If so, shame on you, car makers, says Marshall. Shame on you. Well, it's not quite a matter of them trying to rook you, although there is an angle of that. Let's take a look, Marshall. First of all, this whole idea you're talking about is what's called express up or express down. It means a single actuation of the window button will fully lower or raise the window without you constantly standing on it. And this express up or express down term is a standard industry piece of language. So that's what they call it in the regulations that take a look at this. So let's look at those regulations, because that's where the car industry turns, not just on consumer demand or feature innovation. So if you've got an express up or down window, an express up window in particular, you have to have ARS. That stands for Automatic Reversing System. It means an express up window will stop and back off a bit if it runs into something before fully closing. Not according to U.S. law, interestingly, but according to a UN code called ECER21. Car makers have been complying with that for a long time, and that means express up will always have an automatic reversal system. Now, what the U.S. did add to that UN rigmarole is the idea that we need to have ARS required on U.S. cars if they have remote control power windows, either from a key fob, which would be a decent distance away, or from an app, which could be an enormous distance away. Anytime you're not clearly going to be right there at the window looking at it while you operate it, U.S. law says it's got to have an automatic reversal system. So there you go with that piece of the safety picture. Then you've got this idea of where the U.S. regulators went, instead of mandating ARS on all windows and therefore getting into express up, they instead focused on button behavior. And recently, as of October 2010, said that all power window buttons in new U.S. cars need to have a pull-up function to raise or close the window. You can't do anything else. You can't push, you can't rock her one way or the other. It's got to be a pull-up. The idea there is that it's almost impossible to imagine a child or a pet stepping on a pull-up button and somehow actuating a window that's going to trap them. It just doesn't really work that way, and the stats have proved that to be true. So that's where the regulations lie that kind of box in car makers on how they design the windows, the buttons, and their behavior. So then your question is specifically, why don't they all go up automatically with a single pull? First of all, you've got market segmentation, as you suspect. Car makers know that people like you write to people like me asking about features like this. In other words, it's a desirable feature. And they know that it's a way for them to segment one trim level from another, one model from another, even one make of car from another. So that's one way they filter this. Because honestly, it's all about segmentation for the lowest amount of money. Then there's cost control. Speaking of money, there was a NHTSA survey done not too long ago that said to add automatic reversal system to an auto-up window costs about $6 a window. So that would add $18 to a car for the three windows that often don't have express up. That is an enormous amount of money in the car industry. When they have a cost of a part that goes up 30 cents, they hold a design committee meeting. So $18 is like a world worth of expenditure, and not all consumers are going to appreciate it. Thirdly, you've got risk mitigation. Car companies are run by lawyers and finance. The engineers and designers just happen to work there. And they will take a look at this and say, you know what? Is there enough of a consumer demand for back windows that are auto up, or even a passenger window? What if we just make the driver window that way? It's at a place where the driver is very well aware of what it's doing, and it has the added benefit of getting your hands back on the wheel, both of them, as opposed to riding a button for a few more seconds. So they also see it as a safety play, while also making the other windows not turn into guillotines that are unattended. That's the real formula of how car makers decide not to give you auto up or express up on every window. Keep those emails coming. I'm here to answer your questions about high-tech cars and modern driving. It's Cooley at theroadshow.com.